The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I got a very special guest. And, you know, I hate that I'm not using Google Hangout, because when I use Google Hangout, I get to do the big reveal, because you get to see me while I'm talking. I do the big setup, then I do the reveal and I introduce the guest. But we're seeing the guest here. So I'm going to have to do the reveal in front of him. And listen, part of the reveal special guest is going to be a little bit of a promo. And I'm going to tell you why. When I first saw a man by the name of Rockstar Spud on TV, let me go back even further. I was doing some consulting for TNA, and they were about to premiere a character, Rockstar Spud. And I remember my buddy Matt Conway telling me, Vince, you're going to love this guy, you're going to love this guy, you're going to love this guy, because I'd never seen him before. So I was eager to write the show. I was involved in it at the time, and sure enough, debut of Rockstar Spud, and I immediately fell in love with this guy. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm character-driven, and Rockstar Spud was a throwback to some of my all-time favorite characters of all time. So I immediately fell in love with him. Then a couple months later, I had to do a big secret meeting in Nashville. I went to the secret meeting in Nashville, and I basically said, listen, I can't leave Nashville without meeting this Rockstar Spud. So John Gaborik set up a meeting between me and Rockstar Spud. We had a little bit of dinner, and then we went to a movie. Rockstar Spud was very accommodating. Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, mate, no, mate, the whole 9 yards. Very, very gentlemanlike, very not kind. Well, then I'm watching Spud, and I'm watching him develop, and this guy's becoming a bigger and bigger and bigger star right before my very eyes. So as he's becoming a star, we talk one more time. When I was going over to England, he settled my nerves. He basically even said if I got lost, I could stay with his parents. Very nice, still with the sir and the mates. But then all of a sudden, we go to the next level. Now this guy becomes a huge babyface, a huge star, a TNA champion. Next thing I know, he's fighting Kurt Angle. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cash in my Rockstar Spud card, and I'm going to get him on the show. So now I'm trying to get him on the show, and I got to be honest with you. I think I'd have a better chance of getting President Obama on the show than Rockstar Spud. Now the Spud's blowing me off. Oh, I got computer problems. Oh, I got this. Oh, I'm so sorry. And he's not even calling me sir and mate anymore. The sir and mate are gone because now he's a big star. But I was able to corral him. Look at him. Rockstar Spud, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm garbage now, mate. I'm really sorry. Hey, it was only half an hour. It took me to get this ready.
No,
I'm
bro.
2 hours late. It was supposed to be a 5 o'clock shindig, but yeah.
Bro, it doesn't matter. Listen, Spud, you know I love you. You know whether you're 2, 3, 5 hours late, it doesn't matter to me. Bro, I am absolutely thrilled to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thrilled to be. It's been a long time coming, but yeah, good to be here.
Spud, the one thing I got to say about you off the bat that I loved about you immediately, and I never got to really tell you this, bro, this was tremendous to me. When I met you down in Nashville and we went out to dinner and we went to the movies, bro, this is what I love about you. I tell everybody this when I talk about you. Bro, you had on a shirt that was probably about five sizes too small for you. And, bro, for a little guy, bro, you throw out this, bro, you throw out your chest and you walk around like you're 7'5". Bro, I thought that was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life, bro.
Mate, I think it's just a case that I hadn't really gone shopping in America and I was still wearing the clothes that I've had since probably 13 years old or when I moved out there. But, yeah, like, or maybe I've got bigger. What do you think?
Bro, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you this, and I tell people this all the time. Bro, I hate when I see guys break into the wrestling business that just look like regular guys. Because Vince McMahon, this is what Vince McMahon taught me. If you want to be a star, you got to look like a star, first and foremost. And, bro, that's why I love the peacock chest you had, walking around like that. Now, bro, do you walk around like that wherever you go?
Oh, I don't think it was ever intentional. Maybe I just walk around like I've got a thumb up my bum or something. But like, I don't always, mate. I don't always dress like that. I've had John's pulled me aside and given me that. If you don't look like a star, you don't dress like a star. Because I swear to God, I've gone tanning before I've gone to the airport, and I've literally turned up in a pair of swim shorts and a rotten, shitty vest, and just been like. Just a bum, just to make sure my tan doesn't run for TV.
Well, bro, let me ask you this. Bro, you look like that first meeting, you look like $1 million. You look like a star off the bat.
Vince, you don't understand. This wasn't for you. This was meeting the boss man, and I thought, oh, God, I'm getting fired. I might as well look good.
Bro, see, that was my next question.
Everybody kayfabed me on the deal as well. I didn't know who was. Like, John was like, hey, I want you to come for dinner. And I'm like, what? He's like, and he never asked me that, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm fired. Oh well, might as well make a good impression.
Bro, you just bursted my bubble because I thought it was for me.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry, mate, but had no idea I was meeting yourself. I didn't even know you were in TNA, remember, or like helping out or anything.
That's right.
Massive K5, massive. I didn't know bloody nothing.
Yeah, it was a big secret. Now listen, Spud, you're over in the UK now.
Yeah. Currently here at the moment, renewing work visa because I've had me 3 years. So America's got to decide whether they want to keep me.
So are you working over there or just spending some time with the family?
Doing a bit of both. I mean, the last time I was over, I was brought in by a company called Southside Wrestling, and they gracefully brought me in, and I was able to do a series of shows, but minimal family time. But I'm working every weekend over here, but I'm taking a lot more time out to see family and friends. So.
Hey, Spud, I got to tell you, I did a little research on you today. Bro, you talk about paying your dues. I did not realize how much time you spent working in the UK before you came over here. You started working over there about, what, 2002?
Yeah. My debut was in Sedgley. And it was a tag team match. I nearly broke my back doing some silly hurricanrana. I was dressed like one of the Dudley boys, and just looked a complete and utter muppet. Just trying to be. I was a big Dudley Boys fan, big ECW fan, and everything like that. And I just completely tried to model it on that style, where I take a load of punishment. But it was kind of like, yeah, I've got the picture for you now. This is how I looked on my debut, everyone. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, my God. Bro, how old are you in that picture?
I am 19 years old. Hey, don't worry. This is like my third show. Already playing the politics. Got a belt. Well done. But,
bro, you look like you're about 12 years old in that picture.
Well, James Storm gave me a nudge at TV, and he's like, aren't you supposed to be a white meat babyface? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, what's with the George Michael beard? The only way James can put it. Yeah. What the hell's with the George Michael beard, man? I'm like, he goes, shave that off, man. You're supposed to be a babyface. I'm like, all right, then I will. And so I went straight to, and like that's the thing with me. Like if I respect everybody at TNA and anybody that's ever done anything in this business, or respect everybody and their opinion as well. And as soon as they tell me something, I'll just do it and try it.
Yeah, but Spud, how do you know they're not ribbing you, bro? They might be telling you to do crazy stuff just to see if you'll do it. You know the boys. But,
the chances are I'll just do it anyway because, I don't really care. But I did it and I went straight up to him. But I look 10 years younger now. I look like a right.
Yeah, bro, you do, bro. From the first time I saw you to now, you look a lot different. We're going to talk about that. But, Spud, I want to ask you this question, bro, and I think it really goes back to as a shoot now. I exaggerated a little. But, bro, when I met you, that walk, I mean, you look, bro, anybody who saw you basically turned around and said to whoever they with, that's somebody. And here's what that tells me, Spud. I want to get down to Spud. A lot of people call me like the Oprah of podcasting. So I kind of Oprah. I break things down, Spud.
Okay.
When I saw you in person, here's the one thing that came to mind was, I'm like, this guy's got a lot of confidence in himself, which is great. Now, here's number two, Spud. For a guy your size to actually think you could make a career in the wrestling business, bro, you had to have such a confidence in yourself and your ability that nobody was going to tell you any differently because, bro, the odds had to be 1,000,000 to 1 based on size alone.
Yeah, it's I mean, this will probably burst your bubble again on me. I'm not the most confident as you'd feel like it. I'm very confident when, as soon as I go through that curtain, boom, I'm this different person. It's hard to explain unless you've done this, but it's no, I'm really not the most confident person in the world. I'm just myself, and when I'm comfortable around the people that I'm with and they're comfortable with me, that's when you get that boisterous personality and everything like that. But around people I don't know, sometimes I try and be as welcoming as I can. I think it's really the environment, but in my ability, I'm confident in what I can do. I think the least confident I am is about getting in there and being a wrestler.
But Spud, can I interrupt you? Because and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got to ask you this question. So if you don't have a lack of confidence, right? While you're breaking in the business now, bro, you're 19 years old, you had your first match or whatever. Spud, there had to be people that were telling you, you're absolutely crazy. You're never going to make it into the business just because of your size. People had to be telling you that. So my question is, if you didn't lack the confidence, what was it that made you kind of blow those people off and say, no, I'm gonna be a professional wrestler for a living?
I love it, and I think this is the only way I can describe it. I don't know why I do this. I just know I have to. And it was always my calling. I got told I was too small to play soccer or football, as we call it, the proper way. Football, there's a foot in the ball. Rugby, cricket, all the stereotypical British sports. Everyone said you're too little, too small, or I played it. And then, although I had talent, it was always down to, you're not big enough because you get nudged off the ball, or this happens and that happens. And it was always down to size, this, that. And, they told me the same thing with wrestling. And wrestling was one of the only things I've ever really loved and will always be. If I ever get married, wrestling will still be my wife. And it's one of them things. And they told me that and told me I wasn't going to make it, but took my money anyway, because that's what training schools do, regardless, and because it's a business as well. And and every show, and then every time I go down the public house, they'd go, "Oh, what are you doing that wrestling crap for?" Laughs. So I was the wrestling kid and the joke and everything like that, because I'm the one that's rolling around with men in oil and lycra, as they put it over here. And it was a bit. My dad had a bit of a social scene down the pub, so it was a bit of a knock to his social stance as well. Like, oh, that's the wrestler's dad, like lol, nudge. And but my mom didn't mind as long as I was happy. But my mom hated seeing me limping at 1 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the morning. She's always waited up for me. She still does it now. It's ridiculous, even though I'm 32 years old and I come home, I'm still waiting up for me. You all right, son? Yeah, Mom, I'm okay. You sure? Yeah, I'm fine. And it was that sort of stuff, but I just kept doing it. But the one thing that I noticed with a lot of people is that, you'll never make it if you're this size. And I'm like, well, why don't I embrace being this size? Mm-hmm. I mean, let's not shy away from it. Mm-hmm. I'm the little guy around my friends. I was the little guy at school. I'm the little guy on the football pitch. I'm the little guy here at wrestling. Why don't I just be the little guy? And at the time, there was Rey Mysterio and Spike Dudley, I remember specifically, and especially Spike Dudley, because I looked at him and I was like, that dude's just an ordinary dude. He looked like an ordinary dude, and that was what was Spike's quality. It was, to me anyway, it was like, he's an ordinary dude, and he's getting thrown around and beaten up and battered, but he still gets up, and these people absolutely love him. And he's a big nerd. That's what the Dudley glasses were, and he was a big nerd, and he had these big brothers like Bubba and Devon, and they either looked after him or they beat the piss out of him, and it was just one of those things that I really connected with. And obviously I'd always loved it as a child. I was a big fan of the big giants like Hogan and everyone like that. I was a big fan of the attractions, the larger than life performers, the ones that just captivated the audience. And if my mom and dad knew who they were, I knew they were over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
and it was, that's the sort of stuff that really captured me, like larger than life personalities, the bravado, just the showmanship of it all, and I just fell in love with it.
You know, Spud, that's very, very interesting because, listen, we're talking about two different things here and what it takes to become a wrestler. We're talking about you got to be a wrestler in the ring, but you also have to be an entertainer and have that personality. Yeah. And listen, in my opinion, I say this all the time, in my opinion, the personality and the character outweighs the wrestler. Because, listen, everybody can wrestle. What's really going to get you over, everybody in the business can wrestle. What's going to get you over is your personality and your persona and sticking out and being different. Now, again, I'm going to go back to that confidence thing. Now, you can go in the ring and, you can train to be a phenomenal wrestler and do all these moves, but if you don't have that confidence, was it difficult for you to create the persona at the same time? And how did you go about doing that? Like, how did you become that guy that I saw on TNA for the very first time?
That was 12 years of just being around people, learning from people, sponging. And it was a case of, I used to be the guy that went in there and wrestled, and I was the spot monkey, and I'd do loads of flips and dives and everything like that. And then I got pulled aside by a gentleman called Barry Sharalambus, who was my trainer, and he ran the SAS training school. But before this, he was a roader for a promoter called the FWA, and a promoter that Alex Shane. And he used to road around the Americans, and he rode around Steve Corino, he rode around Terry Funk, and all the fresh independent guys that were bringing over, like AJ, like Loki, and everyone like that, and the big names. So that's pretty much how I learned. He sponged off them, and Raven as well, he sponged off them, and took that information and decided to, and he'd never wrestled. He's had one match in his career, and that was against me. And he stalled for 15 minutes, and they got louder and louder and louder. It was amazing. He was a phenomenal performer and bad guy manager. He was unbelievable. And he taught me all this stuff. And he was the editor of the FWA television show for the Wrestling Channel back in 2002-03. And he taught me all these things, a hard cam, how to work a ring camera, how to project yourself as a star on your entrance, how to tell a story with your match, just stuff like that I never ever thought about. And what we came up with, he was trying to tell me that you're not a wrestler, you're a character, you're a performer on a show, and it's just like acting, it's just like theater, it's just like stage. So I became this white meat babyface underdog character, and my confidence grew because from watching people like a Shawn Michaels and a Bret Hart and stuff like that, you could see that the showmanship, and it was all of the stuff that was in between the moves. It was like, you'll notice there's a move happens, and then everything in between. And that's what the sell is. And I think what people misunderstand is what selling is. It's like, selling pain. It's not. It's what right here in your eyes, and you're telling the story with your body language and everything like that. And that was the stuff that I eventually fell in love with. But then it was and that's what became the persona, and I found myself being a performer and an actor. And then it became the period during the mid-2000s where everybody hated John Cena, so that meant every white meat babyface in the business was a piece of shit to internet fans and stuff. So I was on a bit of a downward spiral, trying to be this plucky underdog and everything like that. So I became this personality, the gobby little goofball that I was behind the scenes and around my friends when I'm comfortable with them, because I'm a mouthy little turd when I can't, around my friends, because that's me. And I created this character called Rockstar Spud, which was basically Spud, but with the Rockstar personality of your boisterous personality and everything like that. But everyone thinks, when they see, he's not a rock star, but it wasn't about that. It's the brashness, it was the personality, everything like that. And in England, you have to really nail it as when you first walk out through the curtain, 5-year-old kid knows what you are. So when I come out in the big glasses, the big hair, and the 80s metal T-shirt and everything like that, they know instantly what I was, and that's where it came from. And
Hey, Spud, let me ask you this, and I want to get your opinion on this. I hear and appreciate everything you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. But, Spud, like, I feel, especially, like, I was with TNA from the beginning. And, like, bro, like, I saw all the young athletes come in, one right after another, okay? And, Spud, like, over the last 10 years, like, what I saw was somehow more and more, as these young guys were coming in, the shift was put on wrestling. And Spud, what used to drive me crazy is, I'll tell you, as a producer and also a writer, all day long, bro, these guys go over their matches, and there's so many spots that all day long you see these guys doing this. All day long. Now, Spud, while they were doing that, I know in my mind, here's what's happening. They're spending so much time memorizing their spots. They're going to completely throw their character out the window when they go in that ring. Because it's like you said, bro, every character sells differently. Every character goes on the offensive differently. It's all right here. And when you're memorizing, spot, you're throwing your character right out the window. And then what happens is, all of a sudden now, everybody looks the same. That's my take on it. But I think there has been a shift of more of a concentration on wrestling than character. Would you agree with that? And I mean, if so, how and why do you think that happened?
I think so, and I don't necessarily think it's it's in the whole business. It's really weird, because I'm watching everything and I can't identify who the babyface and who the heel is. But that's what, to me, is what's so great about TNA and Impact Wrestling. You can actually identify who you're supposed to be rooting for, who you're not supposed to be rooting for now, which is what is a big sales pitch for our product, I believe. You can actually tell that. And the stuff that people do in between here, I think because there's such a monopoly on the business elsewhere that this is the way it should be. When you see it now elsewhere, is the genie out the bottle now and you can't put it back? I don't know. It frustrates me in a way, because and it's like you said with like spots and stuff. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in between the spot with a sell and in regards to right now, my whole persona is just getting beaten up and beaten up and beaten up. But it's the stuff I don't know what's going to happen when I'm in there in regards to that. I just, I go with what's happening. But I just look for a camera. I just really, when I don't even think about it now. I just look for a camera. And that's what's so good about like Bram that we've got, Drew Galloway, EC3, but they're just constantly.
You know what that is? You know what that is right there, Spud? I'll tell you what that is. That's the it factor. That's the it factor. Bro, it's the littlest things when you know the it factor and you know who has it and who doesn't, and they're far apart, bro. And you will think absolutely nothing of this. The first time I saw you, and every time you went out there, two things popped me every single time, okay? One thing, bro, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of miss it. You had a thing going every week with, like, just how high am I going to get my hair? Which was, like, absolutely phenomenal to me. I'm sitting at home and marking out. But, bro, here was the little thing when I watch your character on TV, and I said to myself, that guy gets it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bro, you would purposely point your foot. And bro, that little thing told me that guy gets it. Because
do you know where that came from?
Go ahead.
That was a rib in the back. I got my new ring gear, and all the girls assumed it was for one of the girls. And then when I put it on, I believe it was Lady Tapper that said I looked like a ballet dancer, and I did this. I went, oh, like that, and she like everybody popped for it. I went, and I thought, well, I'm going to do that out there now, because it just ended up sticking. It's just a lot of the things that just stick in, are really just something that has entertained the people in the back. I really believe that. Like, I mean, Steve Austin's "What" was just a joke between him and Christian, wasn't it, over the phone, and it just became, it's just, I think it's just those things that when we were away from the business and it entertains us, because it's nothing to do with wrestling. If we put it in there,
That's what happened with Jay Lethal. He did Macho Man for me in the back one day, and I said, bro, you should have never, ever done that for me, because that's too good to just be in the back, and that's how we developed the character. I got to tell you, though, but I want to tell you what I didn't like, and I think this hurt you a little bit, bro, and I didn't agree with it, and I tried to get a change, and I couldn't, okay? Bro, when I did the research on you and the Rockstar Spud persona, I was reading, bro, you had a hot chick, you had like a whole band with you. It was like an entire gimmick. Can you tell me a little bit more about Rockstar Spud in the UK before you came to the United States?
It was, again, like when people actually paid the money and went full pelt with it, like I had a female security guard, like my own China. Like she's the one that come out, surveyed the stage and everything like that, and then she'd pretend to be on a Madonna headset, and she'd do that, and then out come the two boys with the guitars who were completely miming it, and and there's Heat itself. So then I'm coming out singing badly, more Heat. It was just when you invested in it and made it a show instead of a wrestling match, which is pretty much what the entrance was. It was to make it a big, larger-than-life show. And there's a promotion in England called Progress Wrestling that now do that with their wrestlers and make a big production of their entrances. Like Fergal Devitt, who's now Finn Balor in WWE, used to come out and do these amazing entrances and stuff. Grado in Scotland used to do it, and Grado says, like, he used to, make a big fuss over me doing an entrance like that because he really loved it. And now his is just, it blows me out the water, or anyone I've ever seen in the business out the water. He's just a phenomenal piece of work here. But it all came from that, and the character really was not a rock star at all. He was just this insecure little worm that would shout his mouth off, but then stand behind this bunch of people and be like, giving the finger behind the,
Yeah.
But when he was alone, that's what you got your money to see. When he was finally alone and he was stuck on his own and he got his ass handed to him. But that's all I intended to do, was like play on the real life emotions of people when they're annoyed with that little guy in the bar that's just mouthing off and you just want someone to smack him, but they can't because his big brothers are around him. You know what I mean? And it was all that. And if I'd have gone deeper with it, I just wanted the guy to be found out as a fraud. And he was living at home with his mom, and he was just that typical douche that was like, oh, I'm in a band, but he lives at home with his mom and he's getting benefits and stuff. It was just a douchebag that was just trying to be bigger than what he was,
Man, I see now, Spud. I'm almost a little aggravated that you told me that, and I'll tell you why. Because that's great. I want to see that. Like what you just said to me, I want to see. And bro, when I was consulting for TNA, and again, this has nothing to do with TNA. I'm just being honest with you. When I first saw you come out and they gave you the intro as Rockstar Spud and this, that, and the other thing, I watched and I'm like, where are they getting the Rockstar Spud from? They need to change the name. If he's not going to do a Rockstar gimmick, they got to change his name. And and I remember I said I fought a little bit, and somebody's argument was, well, there's stock in his name in the UK. But I got to be honest with you, bro. I think that hurt you because when we saw you, we didn't see a rock star. Now, if you were going to do that other entrance, bro, who knows? That might have even gotten you more over than you've already got yourself over. Now
I got asked this, would you change your name? And I said absolutely. But it just didn't happen. I said the first time I was there, they go, we'll probably have to change your name. I went, fine, no worries. But here's where I got them. I came in as a heel, and people would keep saying to me, you're not a rock star, you're not a rock star, you're not a rock star. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, oh, that's stupid, isn't it? Am I a heel? Yeah. Is it pissing you off? Yeah. So I'm keeping it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just got more. I got more heat out of that than a lot. I'm still the name now, But I got more heat out of that at the beginning than anything because they didn't know who I was and anything. What's Rockstar about that dude in the bow tie? And it's the little things like that, like the bow tie. If someone walked into a bar with a bow tie, I'd be like, what a douche. Like, and just those things. And I was happy that I had that name. I mean, if they wanted to change it, I was fine. I said to them, if I turn babyface, just call me Spud. But in the end, it just became like, no, then we're going to keep it. And,
Yeah, well, I still disagree with it, but that's me. Spud, I want to ask. Listen, I want to ask you this. I love this too. This is the part of the story I love the best, and I want to kind of get into the insights a little bit, bro. We know, wrestling has always been this. It's the way it was designed. Independent contractors, which really what that does is it pits the guys against each other. Trying to get the spot. That's what it does. That's the nature of the business. So a lot of the guys, bro, it's like. Maybe we're friends on the surface, but we're always all looking out for ourselves. Okay? Now, bro, I sat back and I saw two very young guys in yourself and EC3 who had a future in TNA and, very early on in your careers. Now, being around the boys all the time, immediately I would think that, okay, these guys are going to be very conscious of, not putting the other guy over because they're in competition with them. Bro, what I saw with you and EC3 was the complete opposite. It was complete magic. Very few times in the business did I ever see chemistry like that between two people. And I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. It was refreshing. Bro, how did that come about? Two guys that just, you didn't know each other. I'm sure you have nothing in common. How did that happen?
You guys put us together, and there we go. It was really a case of just two dudes going, "Hey, man." And I think at the beginning, like, he was very untrusting because he'd just come from WWE and he didn't have a great experience there, and he'd just been released, so. He's got a point to prove. I've always got a point to prove because I am who I am. I look like I do, and I just feel that I've got a point to prove every time, and that chip on my shoulder that I think everybody needs. It's like when they put me in a promo opportunity, I've got to go out and nail it, and I'm like, my focus is every promo that they give me that's in the ring, I'm gonna make sure it's a money promo, and that's what I want to do every time. But with me and him, it was just a case of. I knew who I was, he knew what he was, and we just played off each other because I didn't impede on him, he didn't impede on me. It's exactly what he says. It was magic, and I've never experienced that before, and I don't think he has either. But it really was, and I would have liked it to have gone on another year maybe, or like a bit longer. But I knew that. My role was the little company suck-up that wanted to do anything to keep his job. And yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. But the softer side of him looked at this person as, oh, he's my best friend, mainly because he's the only friend he's got.
Yeah.
So that's what he sees as the best friend. Yeah. So he'd do anything for this guy, whereas this guy looks at him like, oh,
yeah.
What
But
I'll keep him around to do my bidding, and I'll benefit off him being an idiot. And if I'm going to get beat up, I'll just push him there. But the blind loyalty of this little guy was just like, and that's where the endearment to the character came from, because you knew deep down EC3 was using him, but he was so blind, faithful to him that he didn't pick it up because he's so stupid. You wanted him to wake up one day.
Yeah. But let's talk about this, Spud. That's TV. Let's talk about real life now, okay? Because here's another feather in your cap, big time, okay? Bro, I've known Bubba for 16 freaking years. In those years, Bubba has not put anybody over but Bubba, bro, for 16 straight years. Trust me, bro. Bro, Bubba absolutely was in love with you, was in love with your character. Bro, was he a big influence in helping you in the back? Because he every time I spoke to him when I left, he could not put you over enough. Did he work a lot with you in the back?
Not in the back, he worked a lot with when we were doing the house show loops with him, and we were in a program with him, and when it involved him, I think it was a case, and that goes for me and DC3 as well. It was a case of Bubba's the babyface. It's our job to get the babyface over. It's Bubba's job to get over. Bubba has no problem getting himself over, so it's our job to get him even more over. And we didn't do anything that impeded that, knocked it down, or got our shit in or anything like that. Our job was simply to make Bubba the biggest star in the company. Or whoever we worked with, make them the biggest star going. So if we either beat them, we're going to get more heat. If they beat us, they're going to be more over. And we'd do the house show runs with him and everything like that. And Bubba in my early months in the company had to come down hard on me because I made a mistake of, going out drinking because, hey, I'm a real wrestler, I'm employed. Yeah. I'm on TV. This is the best time ever. Missed a meet and greet by 15 minutes or something, turned up because my alarm had died, and oh god, it was horrible. And the next day he gave me an education, and he said to me, it came down hard on me, and I was thankful for that because ever since I've been 2 hours early.
Bro, that's why I tell you, when Bubba's contract came up and they didn't resign him, I mean, that was the thing I said because I was there. I was like, man, you can't replace that presence in the locker room. That's more valuable than what he can do in the ring. And, I thought, again, I don't know the financials, bro, but I knew he had such a presence in the locker room. Bro, I remember there was one point when I was consulting, okay, and it happened like that, and I knew it. I remember when Bubba went to the headquarters in Nashville, right, and you were there, and you did a couple of scenes with him, okay? And, bro, at that time, you were the heel and Bubba was the babyface, right? And I remember, bro, because I would not have wrote it this way because I would have known better. When Bubba wind up putting you through the table, at that point with your character, bro, Bubba almost turned himself heel because I don't think people at that point wanted to see you go through the table. I think at that point, you were already a babyface. And, at that moment on, I was trying to convince them, guys, it's time now. You need to change a babyface now. But, eventually, they got there. I always knew that you would be a huge babyface. Bro, do you prefer, I would think you prefer being the heel over the babyface, though. You probably can use your creative talents a little bit more as a heel. Yes,
and I believe I can do more for someone that isn't very, who's a babyface. That's more of a confident. Give me 1 second. I've got to turn my light on because it's getting dark.
Okay.
It's England. It's like 8 o'clock here. Please bear with me. So
there you go, bro. Okay.
As a heel, I believe I can, my boisterousness and obnoxiousness that I can bring out of myself and the hate that I can get, can get someone over that, can't, as a heel, it's my job to do that. And I believe I can do that for anyone, much better than, they can get themselves over themselves. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah.
My presence is there to get them over, and I believe I can do that more with the flamboyance and the I don't mind being the guy that every night has cake in his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I see, Rockstar Spud as a heel. He's a little guy, and he deserves to get his head kicked in, but you got to pay money to see it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we wind him up, and finally it happens. As a babyface, it's closer much more to me as James Michael Curtin, the person, because it is true I wasn't supposed to be where I am in the business. I do, I love kids. I'll do anything for kids, and go, do what I can to put smiles on people's faces. And even as a heel, that's what I enjoy doing because I want them to feel so satisfied when I finally get punched in the face. I'm putting smiles on people's faces, and that's me all over. And it's that's why it's so natural for me to do a, as they say, a babyface promo, because it's a hard thing to do, but it's very me, and it's the closest thing that you're going to see to the real person right now as the underdog Rockstar Spud.
Yeah. Hey, Spud, I want to ask you two tough questions, and they're kind of real life questions, but I want to ask you, bro, I'm not even asking you to do my job. I'm asking you because I'm curious and interested in you as a person. That's why I'm asking you. Bro, we all know the rumors about, TNA and Destination America. Is it over in September? Are they going through December? Is it going to go 2 years? I mean, you hear all that all the time. I don't know, bro. And honestly, bro, I don't ask. It's like it's none of my business. Like whatever happens, happens. So I don't get caught up in that. But what I want to ask you, bro, is as a performer, hearing all those rumors, that can affect your livelihood and can affect your career. How much of that affects you, bro? And how do you block that out? Because this is why I'm asking you, Spud. If it were me, I'd be agonizing over it. I'd be worried about it every single day. Oh my God, what if, what am I going to do? What if? It would be difficult for me. How do you deal with that?
Keep myself busy. And, you hear these things, but I try and focus, instead of on the negativity, try and use what's happening now, because I can't cross this bridge until I see it, Mm-hmm. And if I'm not seeing this bridge and people are telling me about this bridge, but I can't see it, then I'm not going to cross it, am I? So I just kind of focus on what can I do today and, make a positive impact on my life and make a positive impact on what I'm doing or with the company I'm working with or going forward. What can I do to make a positive impact on that? Hearing all that, it doesn't help because, we'll get woke up by texts from, we're the boys, we're the wrestlers.
Right.
Because we're not boys, we're grown men, we're adults, and we do have a livelihood. And we get texts to each other and we're like, hey, have you seen this? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah. And it all becomes yesterday's chip shop paper in the end. It really does, because this week it's, the rumors of this, the rumors of this, the rumors of this, and then it dies down and then something else happens in the industry. And at the moment, it's just it's the cool thing for it's basically the shepherd that the sheep follow.
Yeah, and that's why, bro. I don't get involved. I don't know what's going on. I don't ask people what's going on. I mean, but Spud, let me ask you this though, bro. Say God forbid, just say that did happen, okay? Now, Spud, would you, at that point, would you still try to make a career here in the States, or would you make a career, back home? Because I would think that, man, you'd have a big decision to make, and that might be a tough one.
Yeah, it is a big decision. I mean, obviously, I'm not married to an American lady, so I don't have a green card. I don't have a green card in the United States. I have what's called a performance visa, which lasts every 3 years, which is obviously why I'm back in England renewing that now. And it's just one of those things where if it does happen, God forbid, it's a bridge I've got to cross when I come to it. Do I know what? Do I have a backup plan? Yeah. Do I know what I'm going to do when it happens? No. Will I go into that backup plan? Who knows? It depends when's the right time. Now, do I look at other avenues? Of course. But it's not something that I don't think any of the performers actually really do worry about, especially when we're performing. I think the more we're performing, the less that is even in our brains.
Right.
It couldn't have been a better example from the last loop we did. We had I think I was in Orlando 12 days with this crew, and I've never seen a morale and a happiness and a vibe that was so strong. And the last day was just so fun because we've all gone through let's just say we've all gone through this war in this 12 days, and we've all got through it, and we're just all so happy and stuff like that. It was just it was one of the most fun times I've had in the business. The last week we did in Orlando, it was so amazing.
But I got to tell you this, bro, and this is the God honest truth. And man, there is something inside a professional wrestler that I will never understand. And I'll tell you this straight out, bro. I get very, very critical of creative. And let me tell you where I get critical. Not storylines. Bro, listen, Vince Russo came up with bad storylines. We're all not going to come up with great storylines. I get critical, and bro, it's far more WWE than TNA. Let me make that clear. I get very critical when I don't see the effort being put in creatively, mirroring the effort of what the boys are putting in the ring. Because a lot of times now, bro, especially with the WWE, when it comes to creative, you know, I walk away from that show and I'm like, listen, that show could have been written in an hour. There was no thought, there was no creativity, there was nothing put into that show. But, bro, I have to say this. It doesn't matter what show I'm watching. It could be ROH, TNA, WWE, Lucha Underground. Bro, when a wrestler's in the ring, it's 150%. Like, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter, oh, my God, are we going to be out of business? Does this storyline stink? No matter what it is, wrestlers always in that ring, man, once they're between the ropes, they give 150, and bro, I don't understand that. Like, I don't know what it is inside of you that, man, once you lace up those boots, something just happens where every time, regardless of the circumstances, the effort is 200%.
And that's why we're the best entertainers in the world, and we're looked at like the bastard stepchild that no one wants. And it pains me because when we go out there, if we go out with a case of wine and the whole audience is non-alcoholics, we can change that. Actors, stage shows, comedians, they can't do that. We can. And that's the amazing thing about our profession. We can go in there and plan to beat the living snot out of each other, and then when we get out there, that crowd just want to see you do the funny dance. And then we're like, right, well, we don't have to do that. We can change it up, and here we go, and tackle, drop down, hip toss, and the place will be standing, and then we can just go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen until we get out there, but we preempt it, and you know, now, and I think that's the problem with today's day and age in wrestling, that, you know, and I'm victim of, you know, not victim, I'm you know, a culprit of it as well, because we do plan ahead, and when we get out there, it's not what the audience wants or whatever, and you know, you don't get the reaction that you feel it was going to get, and I think that's what's happened nowadays.
Yeah, well, Spud, listen, bro, I beat this drum till I was blue in the face. TNA, bro, was always going to be at a disadvantage because of the taping schedule, and I understand its finances. I totally get that. But, bro, when you guys are trying to tape 2 shows in a day and you got to go out there fresh as a daisy and give your best performance, you know, bro, that's very, very difficult to do. You guys never have the advantage of just putting on 1 show a night.
But here's what's so amazing about absolutely everyone, and this is where you've got, like, great locker room leaders like Eric Young and Bobby Roode and, you know, Storm and people like that. You come back through the curtain, you know, at the go position, all the guys say thank you. But you've got, like, Eric Young standing there, and he's patting you on the back and he's shaking your hand. And especially because he's always been there from pretty much day one. And, like, those guys, like, and a bit Abyss too, man. Like, he's one of the best agents they've got there. And he's an agent now, you know, sorry to let the cat out of the bag, but, like, he needs the credit because he's one of the best agents that we've got. He's phenomenal at putting, when he's given something, he's pretty much lumped with what could potentially be utter garbage, and he turns it into a 3-course meal.
Yeah.
He's so good at that. And, you know, getting that pat on the back from people like them and your peers and stuff, that's what keeps us all going, and that's what the morale is. It's just to keep everybody going, and not one person bitch that they were hurt, complained that they were, you know, that it was hurt. You know, probably, I was probably the one that was whining more than anything. I'm like, oh, God. And I love wrestling, I'll wrestle. But once it was over, I wanted to do 20 more days.
Yeah.
I wanted to do more. You know, when I'm hurt, I'm the type of person that, like, when I've got a sore back, I'm like, oh. I mean, I'll sell it. I'm one of them idiots. I'll be like, oh, get up in the morning, stuff. But
well, you know who else. Yeah, bro. You know who else who's there who sets the example for it, bro. And one of the greatest relationships I've made in the wrestling business. And Spud, you don't really have relationships, and the ones you have are really few and far between. But I mean, bro, when you guys, you talked about the Eric Youngs and the Bobby Roodes and stuff, but when you have a guy like Kurt Angle leading the way, I spoke to Kurt the other day, and I said to him, and this is a shoot, bro, all the time I spent around Kurt, bro, I don't even remember ever seeing him mad. I never saw Kurt mad. He's always so calm. And then when he gets in that ring, bro, no matter what the injury, no matter what, just an unbelievable human being. He's
just one of the most gracious, nicest men I've had the pleasure of working with and sharing a ring with. He was just he knows he's Kurt Angle, which means he knows nothing, that there's no insecurity there. He knows he's Kurt Angle, and he knows that no matter what happens in whatever you're doing with him, whether it be a segment, pre-tape, a match, he knows that the next time you see him, he's still going to be Kurt Angle.
Exactly.
And it's not going to affect him, and he's not going to lose any money, following, ego, anything like that. He's not going to lose anything. He's still going to be Kurt Angle. And, he, like when we had the last pay-per-view, Slammiversary, I believe it was, and he was just riling the troops, man.
Yeah, that's Kurt,
and he's at the front of the monitor every time. And I asked him this, it was probably like my second or third house show loop. I went, "You watch everything, don't you, Kurt?" And he goes, "Yeah, because you never know who you're going to be working with next." And ever since then, first at the monitor, like...
Yeah. I mean, bro, I just cannot believe a guy at that level, does not have an ego. Like you said, he knows it's Kurt Angle. Bro, if I was Kurt Angle, I'd be acting a completely different way. This guy's got no ego, bro.
I can believe it, because, there's a lot of people that you meet in the business that you think should have, an enormous ego, and they don't. I mean, take Jeff Hardy, for example. No ego at all.
Yeah,
No. I don't think Jeff Hardy realizes that he's Jeff Hardy half the time. You know what I mean? Like, he's just this cool cat from North Carolina, and he looks like a star. He just has it, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's and I think it's those people that don't have those insecurities, that are just themselves, that are the ones that make the millions in this business. They really do. And good for them, because they've worked hard and they've given their body, and they wholeheartedly deserve it, and their family do as well.
Now, Spud, I want to plug TNA, I want to plug Destination America, everything that's coming on. But before we do that, bro, I got to ask you one last question, because I'm trying to debunk this, and I kind of need somebody who was there and who was on hand. Okay, and I wasn't there, and I think this is a complete work, and I want to see if you can confirm this for me. Okay. Bro, there is no way, no how, Velvet Sky is dating Bully Ray. I say it's an absolute work. I say it's a Bubba work, making people believe it, in a desperate move to get himself over. Can you confirm that for me right now, bro? Just confirm it.
Here's what I'll say. I haven't seen that man smile like a Cheshire cat since I was cat man. So,
bro, do you know?
Something keeping him happy.
Bro, do you know what he does to me every day, bro? He sends me pictures of him in Velvet every day, bro. Can you imagine, bro?
Well, I've seen what him and Tommy Dreamer do together on a regular basis, and just murder each other like two monstrous Vikings, and they just bully each other all day. And Bully Ray is Bully Ray. He's a big bully, and if he's got something and he knows you want it, he's going to bully you.
Bro, I always say this, man. I have no idea how Devon literally put up with him their entire careers. I would have either killed him or myself, bro, somewhere along the line.
Well, I did a Q&A in Preston, and I was the host for them. And, Devon was a bigger heel that night than Bully. So, he threatened me with a sexual act in front of the audience. Maybe he's changing his old age.
Yeah. So Spud, tell me what's going on with TNA. What's going on with TNA now? Destination America, 9 o'clock. Tell me everything. Give me the big hype.
Well, tonight, it will be Wednesday tonight, but right now we've just inducted Jeff Jarrett into the Hall of Fame. I've always said Jeff Jarrett. I don't know if it's Jeff Jarrett or Jeff Jarrett, but I've always, he's just been inducted to the Hall of Fame. I've always said it like that. And tonight we've got EC3 defending the world title against Matt Hardy in pretty much Full Metal Mayhem with tables, with chairs, with ladders, and tonight I'm granting your wish. I'm putting my name on the line, the Rockstar name, against Austin Aries, who's put his career on the line because he says he can't beat me, then he doesn't deserve to be in the TNA ring, which will either be a blessing or a curse, in his department. We've got the Dollhouse on tonight as well, who, they're awesome bunch of young girls, really hardworking young girls. They're there before everybody else, before the day, shooting their pre-tapes and stuff. So
you know who I had on the show a couple of weeks ago. I never had the pleasure of meeting. What a sweetheart, that Rebel, huh?
Oh, she's scum.
Sweetheart of a girl, and what a background and what a story she's got, huh, bro?
She really does. She lives in Nashville, so we occasionally partake in a bourbon or two, but she's really awesome,
bro.
Really.
She used to be in that they call it now the Legends Football League, right?
Yeah, she used to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
But that Legends Football League, right, bro?
No.
Bro, it's a girls. It's on Fuse now, bro. Check it out. It's on Fuse. It's LFL. It's the Legends Football League. But basically, bro, it's these girls playing tackle football, like wearing practically nothing, and they kill each other. I mean, bro, no padding, no nothing, bro, nothing.
Well, I occasionally, there's a ring in Nashville that we go and work out in, and I work out with her in there, even though her makeup sometimes stains my workout tops, jerk. But she's rough, man. She'll bring it. She's really into mixed martial arts as well, which I know she does. So look out for her. She'll probably be fighting Ronda Rousey one day. You never know. But, when she brings it, man. So and because she's only been doing this she's been in the business not even a year. Yeah. So she's learning on the job, and I think she's doing tremendously well.
Yeah, me too. Well, Spud, listen, man, thanks for joining me today, bro. It really is my honor and my privilege. And, bro, listen, I'm so happy. This is an absolute shoot. I could have never met you. I mean, that could have never happened. And I am so thankful for John for making that happen. And I'm just so thankful that I did have the opportunity to meet you, bro. I think you're not only a great talent, I think you're a great human being. And, bro, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter what happens because you can't keep talent down. I told Eric Young this many years ago, and it's cliche-ish, but the cream's always going to rise to the crop, bro. And you are one of the most talented entertainers, wrestlers out there. I don't think you're ever going to have to worry about anything. Thanks so much for joining me today, bro.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
All right. Spud, everybody. I'll see you next week. Catch me on the rebound.